Howdy, Jacob here. Today we're looking at Checkpoint Software Technologies. They're in the software industry, 19 billion market cap on 17.5 billion enterprise value. Okay, so revenue growth, not huge, but beautifully consistent. You got to put a premium for consistent companies. Everyone loves when they can really expect the business to or what the business outcome is going to be. And I feel like from a revenue standpoint, definitely looks like that. Operating profit is actually down quite a bit, but their earnings per share is over double. So that's interesting to see. I wonder why that is. Return on invested capital and equity are almost the same, or they are the same. So no interest-bearing debt here, possibly outside of capital leases. Let's look at the income statement first. So they had these other non-operating expenses, then their income tax. Oh, it's just earnings per share. Okay, I see what's happening. So the operating profit is essentially the same, up a little bit. Net income's up a little bit. Pre-tax income's up a little bit, but earnings per share is up a lot due to them buying back so many shares. So this does make sense. But they do have a decreasing operating margin. So keep that in mind. But at an earnings per share level, they're buying back a lot of shares, which is also inflating this return on invested capital figure. So the company has 1.5 billion in very liquid assets with no short-term debt, no long-term debt. Amazing balance sheet. This deferred revenue of 1.4 million. Okay. 1.4 million investments. They wrote off a bit of goodwill. 2023. Okay, then per cash flow statement. So they're a cash cow. I love that. What I mean by cash cow is that it takes almost nothing to run this business. We see that their capital expenditures are 20 million, a chump change of 20 million compared to their $1 billion in cash from operations. I will say, however, that they are issuing shares from a compensation standpoint pretty heavily. I'm intrigued to see whether that turns out to be insider ownership, and it does. Okay, 21% insider ownership here. That's fantastic. That means that the company's going to do very likely what's in the best interest of shareholders. And you can see that they've been buying back shares like crazy consistently. And again, the past doesn't necessarily guarantee the future, but for them to be buying back as consistently here, there's a good chance that a lot of these buys were good buys. Some of them were over expensive. That's what happens when you do what I call like these, well, everyone calls it dollar cost averaging, but when management dollar cost averages, it can be good if you're a fantastic business that's growing above what the market is doing, so that you're getting in excess of that 8 to 10% on average that the market makes. So I think I'm ready to make some assumptions here. I think from a revenue growth perspective, I could see it growing at 5%. I think 17p and price free cash flow are fine. I'm fine with that. For the margins going down, I'm going to put it at the lower end of these averages, maybe 35 and 40, with them buying back 4% of shares. 4% of shares to them, let's say 200 million, 800 million. That's 800 million. That's about 80% of their free cash flow 5-year average. And then the rest, hopefully, they can make acquisitions if they make sense, reinvest back in themselves, or dividend work, possibly worst case, or they don't have debt, so don't have to worry about that. But really, we're just trying to leave a little bit of money left over so that they don't have to go in debt to fund acquisitions or to reinvest back into themselves. And that gets us to a final price that still needs to fall quite a bit, 44%, before you get a 15% return given these assumptions. I think, again, it's just one of those companies, just like a lot of the other ones on the screen. I definitely want to own it. I think it's a great company. Even though I haven't done further research, I think it's fantastic based on the numbers. And I'll just do more research when it gets closer. But for now, I'm just waiting. No need to do further digging when the price doesn't make sense to you. So I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.